Assalamualaikum. So this is chapter 3, the nature of decision making for MGT162. Okay. So we have few of learning objectives that we want to see in this chapter. Okay. Of course, okay, we need to understand, we know the definitions for decision making. Okay. Decision making is the process through which managers identify and resolve problems and capitalize on opportunities. Okay, so as a manager, of course, the manager have to solve the problems, okay, and also to take the opportunities which can give the benefit to the organization. Decision making is also the process by which a course of action is selected as the way to deal with a specific problems. Okay, so whenever they face the problem, the situations, of course, the manager have to think on how to cater or solve the problem. Okay, so there are two types of decision making. Okay, program and non-program. Okay, program it is structured, a repetitive decision that can be handled by a routine approach for all the situation or problems which we always face. We faced the problem before, okay? It always occurs, so we call it as a program decision. We can use the program decision, okay? Always occur, so it become routine to us to face with the situation, okay? For example, rules and regulations, okay? For example, you then have dress code, usage of student ID, and so on, okay? So whenever we face with the problems, we know on how to cater or solve it. Okay, the second one is non-program. It is unstructured and requires higher level management. It usually deals with unique, unusual, or exceptional problem. Non-routine decision making that occurs in response to unusual, unpredictable opportunities and threats. Okay, so whenever we face a new situation or a new problem that we never faced before, so we cannot refer to the pre-planned program that we have, okay, to solve the problem. So we have to think a unique way on how to solve it. Okay, for example, right now, okay, all over the world is facing COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so this COVID-19 is never happened before. So the government have to come up with a new decisions, make new decision on how to prevent or how to improve to cater with the situation. Okay, so program is always occur, is a routine. Okay, non-program is unique, something new. Okay, there are four types of conditions under decision making. Okay, conditions under decision making meaning whenever the manager or the leader is making decisions, there are in these four conditions or four situations. Okay, the first one is certainty. Okay, decision maker know exactly what will happen and able to predict the outcome precisely. Okay, certain. Okay, meaning that the leader or the manager is very certain, very confident, know everything about the situation, and they already know on how to solve it. Okay, for example, if you put 1,000 in bank, okay, for fixed deposit, and you of course will gain the interest. Okay, so it will be you will get 50 ringgit, okay, after 1 year. Okay, that is very certain. The second one we have is uncertainty, a condition under which there is no full knowledge of the problem and reasonable probabilities for alternative outcomes cannot be determined. Okay? Uncertainty meaning that we don't exactly sure about the problem, and there will be probabilities that something different will come out. Okay, a situation in which a decision maker has neither certainty nor reasonable probability about the outcome. We are not very certain. Okay, the third one is risk. Okay, refer to future conditions that are not always known in advance. Okay? Decision maker is able to estimate the likelihood of certain outcome based on personal experience or secondary information. Okay? Some information is available, but it's not enough to answer all questions about the outcome. Sometimes we are put in a risky situation. Okay? Whenever we want to make decisions, if we choose the solutions A, or whether we want to choose the solutions A or solution B, we didn't know whether in the future is it going to be according to plan or not. Okay, it's very risky. For example, let's say that you invest in investment in business or shares. Okay, so even though you already calculated about the shares or about the business, but it's still putting yourself in risk. Okay? And the last one is ambiguity. Okay? The goals to be achieved or problem to be solved is unclear. First, you don't understand whether this is there a goal or problem that you need to solve. Okay? Alternatives are difficult to define. Alternative is the solution. Okay? You didn't know the choices. Okay? And the information about outcomes is not available, and you didn't know if you do it according to this one, what gonna happen. Okay, so the basic thing is you don't understand the situation. Okay, so these are the four conditions, okay, under decision making, the four conditions that the manager face when they making the decision. Okay, next is rational economic model. What it means by rational economic model is a prescriptive framework of how a decision should be made that assumes managers have completely accurate information. So this is this model, okay, rational economic model, we assumes that managers have complete information, okay, because in the organization the managers will make the decision, and the managers is not the owner of the organization. Okay? Managers are also the worker. Okay? So the owner have to assume that the managers, when they make decision for the organization, the manager already have the accurate and complete information before they make decision. Okay? So it concentrates on how decisions should be made, not on how they actually are made. Okay? So we assume that these are the five assumptions, okay, in the rational economic model. We assume that the managers have perfect information. Perfect information meaning that they have complete, accurate, good information before they make the decision. Managers attempt to accomplish objectives, okay, that are known and agreed upon. So whenever they want to make the decisions, we assume that manager is trying to fulfill the objective that they have made for the organization. Managers are rational, systematic, and logical in assessing alternative and their associated probabilities. So we assume that the managers is very rational, okay, systematic, and very logical, and they choose the best alternative or choices to solve the problem. Managers work in the best interest of the organization, so we assume that whatever that the decisions the manager take or make is for the best of the organization. Ethical decisions do not arise, so manager is completely aware about the ethical, so they act accordingly. So these are the assumptions that we make whenever the manager is making decisions for the organization. Okay? So there are four steps in rational model of decision. So we know that the manager have to make decision for the organization. Okay? So they are doing the decision according to these four steps. Okay? Step number one is the manager will investigate the situation, define the problem, diagnose causes, identify decision objectives. So of course they understand the problem and they know what are the objectives that they need to fulfill. Okay? The second one is develop alternative or choices. Okay? seek creative alternative, do not evaluate yet. So they will list out all the choices, okay, alternative that they have in order to solve the problems. Just list out all the alternative, the choices, okay? No, do not evaluate yet. Okay, so next gonna evaluate alternative and select the best one. Okay, so after we list out all the choices that we have, the alternative, and then it's time for us to evaluate each of the alternative. Okay, so we're gonna evaluate it based on, first is time, okay, the cost involved, the risk involved, the benefits or the advantages or the disadvantages for each of the choices or alternative. Okay, and then after that, then we will select the best alternative for us to use to solve the problem. Okay, implement and monitor. Okay, now after we choose the best solutions, okay, to solve the problems, then we have to implement it, and of course after that we have to monitor, okay, monitor the implementation to see whether is it what we decide is the best, or do we need to make any adjustment, or it didn't solve the problems, or how. Okay, so always they have to monitor. So that's it for this first video. Okay, so we're going to continue in the second video.